Shivoham Karthik, Rajendra Makwana, Shivoham, Rais, Hitkari ji, Namaskar, Sudeep Bhargava, Shivoham, Girish and Amma, Bridget, good evening, Shivoham, Raju, Avinash, Shivoham, Siva, Yoga Narsiman, Shivoham, and the rest of you, Sagai Raj. I can't see many of you who are hiding your faces. But with that note, the topic of today's subject, what is the topic? Why would somebody give up his, all his millions, did I say millions and why would a man leave all his millions, trillions and take up spirituality? Anybody? Anybody would like to give me your gyan?
Shivoham here.
Shivoham.
And it is basically because of the realization that he or she has.
But why would he give up?
Because he then comes to know that accumulation of wealth doesn't mean anything. He is not going to take a single penny with him.
But Rajendra, let us be practical. You know what it means of having millions, billions, trillions. I'm saying billions, trillions. Why would a man give up? You know the meaning. Practical baat karo. Why would a man give up?
Sir, can I give my views?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
please.
yeah. Please go ahead, actually.
Thank you, sir.
अरे हमें तो views ही चाहिए ना.
Sir, he may not give up the millions and whatever money he has. He doesn't have to become a sannyasi or something like you always say. But he will not draw happiness from that money because he knows that money is only going to give him a short-lived happiness. So for happiness, satisfaction, whatever words that we use, then he will look towards spirituality. Money is only for maybe for sustaining himself. That is how I look at it. So I may not give up all my wealth or something. I may even use it for some good purpose. That's also one karma yoga. But I know that it's not going to give me happiness. That realization I should have.
So that's taking us to the next question. What is
Sudeep. So the question is that why would he give up?
He will not give up, sir. I'm not saying to give up. He will definitely not give up. एक तो use वो कर सकता है कि कर्म योग में he might put that money into some charity. जैसे sir is running a old age home and a hospital. Very good use. You enjoy the money, but I mean you spend the money for that matter. But on knowing that the enjoyment that you are getting from the money is only short-lived.
So
the real enjoyment will come from somewhere else.
We are going to the next question in the question. What is called QIQ? You know what's QIQ?
Question in question.
Question in question. So something. So what is this QIQ? What is this giving up that we are talking of? Anybody? What is this giving up business?
See, giving up because he will realize that as long as I have all the wealth, all the money, quest for more money will be there. So better to just leave it here. Stop it. As you have sometimes back, you have mentioned, stop.
How many of you have read a book? It's called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Who has read the book?
I have read.
Who's
Pranam Guruji, I have read.
Pranam Kiran, बोलो क्या वो book किताब में क्या लिखा है?
I have read it long back. But
I have to read Shivam Guruji.
Shivam, Sanjay Das, you can give us a sense वो क्या लिखा है वो किताब में Sanjay Das?
Actually, it is actually totally spiritual, but an American story where a lawyer falls down. He's a renowned lawyer, enjoys life like anything, drinking, boozing, everything. Suddenly falls down, and he falls down, then it suddenly disappears. Very renowned lawyer, and after some years he comes back. A thin, frail man. He has gone to Himalayas, some sages, and then he follows their way of living, doing meditation, going to spiritual part. When he comes back, he changes, everything changes of him. That I remember, I also read a long time back That much I remember. But it is all
No, good.
spiritual.
No, good.
Sure,
So
sure,
what
Guruji.
why I'm asking you all this is today, Sanjay Das, you just logged in. We are asking the question: why would somebody give up their millions, billions, trillions for the sake of spirituality? That is the question we are on. I'll spend another 1 or 2 minutes because it's very important. See, let me explain to all of you. This whole problem of spirituality being attained is deeply intertwined with money, wealth, world, success. As yes or not? कनेक्शन है कि कनेक्शन नहीं है? बहुत गहरा कनेक्शन है, बहुत गहरा कनेक्शन है. Everything in this world. Okay, let me get to the roots of it because otherwise it will go everywhere around the place. See, the problem is this. I am telling you from my personal experience. So, what is the meaning of giving up? For those of you who don't know, I have given up. But have I given up or have I given away? There's a lot of difference between giving up and giving away. Now, giving away means, Girish wants to say something. You want to say something, Girish?
It is
Bolo.
coming out of the notion of ownership and proprietorship, or doer or enjoyer. Everything belongs to God, and I am just an instrument.
Very good.
This is
So
the
therefore,
method of giving up ownership, giving up individuality, ahankara.
see, so
That is the way. Yes.
so therefore, what I'm saying, I'm trying to give you all this came, I think, probably from my own personal experience, where God gave me a lot of money. And I don't know whether I told you all, when God gave me a lot of money, He gave me a loan of 50 crores. And I was struggling. There was asset worth more, and but God cleared the loan by magic. The loan got cleared, and then there was a lot of money. But if I had not given up the money, if I had kept the control of money in my hands, I would not have been able to attain realization of truth. Because the money is such a thing that it will not let you give up your millions. It will not let you give up. And the moment your attention is on money, then spirituality is a very difficult subject. I'm telling you from a real life experience, from my personal life experience. So today's question is based on that. Now I'm going to give you the answer. And then you can ask me my personal question about my life, because my life is not a fairy tale. My life that I share with you is a real life experience. Everything I share with you is not theory. It is practical. Everything I share with you. So, my dear friends, why would a man give up his millions, billions, trillions for the sake of spirituality? Here is the answer. Because millions, billions, trillions cannot give you true happiness. Millions and billions will give you pleasure on one side and pain on the other side. It will give you stress. It will give you worry. It will give you anxiety. Does it mean you should give away everything? No, I'm not saying you should give away. But you must have what I often tell you, you must have detached attachment. Have I not given this terminology to you? This terminology is called detached attachment. Knowing that I am supposed to be owning a lot of wealth, but none of the money belongs to me. I don't know how many of you know, or I've told you, I don't sign a check. Even if a check is 1 crore check or 5 crores check, I don't sign. I have given up authority. Why? Because if I don't give up the authority, I will be a slave to that. So when a man gives up his millions or billions for the sake of spirituality, it is because the spirituality gives you that state of happiness, which is bliss, which is peace, which is tranquility, which is not imprisoned by fear, worry, stress, anxiety. Most rich people, I'm telling you, I know many rich people, some of them come on this call also, many rich people, they are prisoners. Bechare. I use the word bechara. Bechara means so sad. I pity. A person who has so much money, the money becomes the jail. The money doesn't let you go and realize that you are the divine soul. The money doesn't let you realize that not a penny belongs to you. Is it a difficult subject to understand? Avinash, is it difficult to understand that 1 rupee also we cannot take with us? We know it, we all know it. We all know it. Why then are we prisoners? Ashok Nichani, you agree with me people are prisoners of their wealth, or you don't agree with me?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes,
Why
you are
are,
right.
why are people stuck with their money, Ashok? You know so many rich people. Why they are stuck with their money?
Desire.
Desire. Desire or attachment?
Attachment, desire, luxury, living, luxury living.
Fake image, false image of the world, having a brand, कि ये बड़ा आदमी है,
बड़ा आदमी.
trying to impress other people with the car, the house, the brand you wear, the shoe you wear. I know many people. Very funny. I'll close by this and hand over to you. I know a man who wears the most uncomfortable shoe. His feet pain, but because it is a high brand, he wears that shoe to impress other people. What is life? You are squeezing your feet in a shoe which is not comfortable, but you want that shoe to impress other people. So with that, administrator, do we have questions today? Gautam, let us start with administrative questions, please. I am not supposed to talk too much, actually. I think I've started talking too much. I have to cut my talking time. Gautam, yes, please.
Yes, Shivam.
Shivoham, bolo Gautam.
Actually, I have a little confusion about the status what you have uploaded today.
What is that status?
So you told that mountains have the energy and humans have the soul.
Yes.
So after human beings will die, so the soul will be there, or it will because the mind and the ego will reborn again. Where did the soul go?
Okay. So what I
I'm little
explained
confused about it.
for those of you who have seen the status today, what is the status saying? Everything in this world has energy. The sun that glows, the wind that blows, the water that flows, the mountains, everything has energy. But the mountain doesn't have a soul. And in simple words, Gautam, what I explained, the soul is only there in somebody who lives and dies. The mountain doesn't live and die. So the mountain has a power, energy, but no soul. And so we talked about the soul is only present for a living organism, an organism which is born and which dies. So this is what the status is about, Gautam. You have any further question?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
Next question.
Jyotri. The question from Jyotri is, I think, a typed question. Jyotri says, I am no one to challenge you. It's just a question. Now, please challenge it. You can ask any question. It is not taken as a challenge, first of all, Jyotri. I'm not even read your question. It's just a question. Is enlightenment the highest truth, or is there something beyond that? क्या इसको क्रिकेट के भाषा में बोलते हैं गूगली. क्रिकेट के भाषा में बोलते हैं ऑफ स्पिन बिकमिंग लेग स्पिन. गूगली बन जाता है. This is the question. Jyotri, I hope you know cricket, Jyotri. Is enlightenment the highest truth, or is there something beyond that? Enlightenment is the truth, that there is nothing beyond that. That is that when you are enlightened, you realize that everything is divine. When you are enlightened, you realize that even the scientists which talk of gray matter, black energy, gray energy, everything in this world, the Milky Way, the cosmos, the universe, the earth, the skies, everything is a manifestation of the divine. So that is the first thing. I'm answering your first question. There is nothing beyond that. What is beyond that is beyond human comprehension. We cannot comprehend. As well as I totally agree that enlightenment gives us the peace and bliss. However, is it true that one who gets enlightenment will escape the cycle of birth and death? Absolutely. Absolutely true, Jyotri, that the one who gets enlightenment escapes from the cycle of birth and death because you realize the body dies. It is not difficult to realize. If you open your real eyes, it is very simple. Every body will die. But if I was that body, you will not burn my body. You burn my body because I left the body. Who left the body? Who left the body? This is not a difficult question. Don't leave this question. Don't sleep tonight. And answer the question. When a body dies, we burn the body because the person who was alive left the body. Who left the body? And the answer is only two. The answer is only two. Some people believe it is the Atma that left the body. And some people believe it is the mind and ego along with its karma that left the body. If you think it's the mind and ego with the karma, there is rebirth. If you realize it is the Atma, you are the Atma, you are liberated. The answer is such a simple thing. Then can you understand? It's not about understanding. It's about aparoksh anubhuti. It is about an intuitive experience. It is a spark that has to come inside. That is enlightenment. When you are enlightened, then you realize, I am not the body that dies. I am not even the mind and ego, me, that is reborn. I am the Atma. I am the divine soul. And I believe somebody sent me what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Somebody sent me recently. The soul changes bodies like you change clothes. Aisa kuch hai. I quote only few things of the Bhagavad Gita. I don't quote everything because I quote the Upanishads. And the Upanishads are the original text of Sanatana Dharma. So, Jyotri, if you have any other clarification, please ask me. It's very, very clear answers to your questions. The one who is enlightened realized that there's nothing beyond enlightenment because that is the power of God. The one who is enlightened escapes from the cycle of rebirth because he is not the doer of action. He has no karma. The karma is free. I gave the story, very interesting story 2 days back about Sudeep doing 100 murders and him being convicted in jail. Then can he be free? Then I don't know. It was a made-up story. God gave the story at that impromptu. Then Sudeep had a Hamshakal Bhai called Rajdeep. And it was Rajdeep who did the murder. So Sudeep was acquitted. He was left free because he was not the doer of the crime. Thank you, Jyotri. Next question. Girish. Yes, Girish, time for your question.
Shivoham.
Shivoham.
In the example of a balloon with full of air bursting, the air inside mingles with the air outside. Similarly, the soul mingles with the universal soul.
Correct.
Is what we have to understand, right?
Correct.
It goes to no place because everywhere soul is there.
Absolutely.
So that divine energy and the concept of soul, which gives sentience to this body, is one and the same. Only that it is more concentrated in human body. It
is manifested in the human body. It appears. Like I told you, in an amoeba, it appears in a very low energy. In a human body, it is vibrant. It is more strong. In the air, it gets diluted. It is very, very diluted. Then it gets concentrated. You use the word concentrated. It gets concentrated and comes into a zygote when the fertilization takes place.
Yes. Whereas in mountains, how this energy is accumulated?
In mountains, this energy is so low that it is not soul energy. So our understanding, Girish, is as follows: that God has created this universe at two levels. At level number one, in the Upanishads, it says, Ishvara. Ishvara is the creator. Ishvara created the Jagat. This is the words of the Upanishads. The Ishvara created the Jagat. How did he create the Jagat? from his own energy. From him, like a spider. Spider creates the web. Ishvara created the Jagat. In the Jagat, there was no soul power. Then he created life. He created a more concentrated power from the Jagat. He did not create it from, it's all part of Ishvara. Therefore, you are also Ishvara, I am also Ishvara, mountain is also Ishvara. But the mountain is the power of the mountain is not a strong power of the soul. And the power of the soul is the highest in human being and lowest in amoeba. So this is the understanding. Thank you, Girish. Thank you for your question. Next, Bridget. Bridget's question is, rich persons, it is easy to do, but how do we do when we are poor? Who when work for me? Rich person, it is easy. How it is easy for rich person, Bridget? It is very difficult for rich person.
No,
Rich person,
we have the essential money to take care of you. You are able to eat, you are able to make what you want, but
the rich
for
person,
someone to walk each day, how I can do?
but Bridget, the rich person has money for food and for home and clothing, fine. But the rich person is attached to his money. He cannot get enlightenment. The rich person becomes greedy. Have you seen how many rich people don't want more money? Have you seen anybody? Every rich person wants more money and more money and more money and more money. But there are many poor people. There are more poor people who are content. You know, content in, I don't French, what you say. They are fulfilled. They are satisfied.
Yeah.
So those people have sometimes a better chance of enlightenment because they are not greedy. But rich people mostly are more greedy. You know, I'll give you a small story, Bridget. A poor person has one baguette to eat, 1 pound of baguette, and another person hungry, he will give a piece of the baguette. But the rich person will have 100 baguettes, but he will not give even one to the poor person. So this is very sad. This is what we are trying to say, Bridget. The point is that the rich people are not able to give up. They become attached to their money. And its human being becomes attached to relationships. But why does a man give up his millions and billions for the sake of spirituality? Only when he realizes that the happiness from spirituality is but much, much more than money. Money cannot give happiness. Money can buy a bed, but not sleep. Money can buy a diamond ring, but not love. Money can buy medicine, but not health. Money can buy a lot of books, but not realization.
I understand what you say.
Thank you. Next question.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I think there's Jyotri's question has just come in. Is there a pending question? Okay, Jyotri's question is a follow-up, I think. What happens to the mind and ego of enlightened person after death? Very interesting. Jyotri, have you seen the mind, Jyotri? Have you seen the nose, Jyotri? This is the nose. This is eyes. This is ear. This is hair. This is chin. You have seen the photograph of the brain. You have seen MRI of the heart. But where is the mind? You cannot find. The mind is what you call in our language of enlightenment, mithya. It is like a rainbow. The rainbow appears, but when you try to catch the rainbow, it is not there. The mind appears to be. The ego traps us. The mind and ego is actually an illusion. The mind and ego appears to be, but it doesn't exist. What happens to mind and ego of the enlightened person? The enlightened person, not after death, Jyotri, Yoga Narasimha, but before death, the enlightened, what is the meaning of enlightenment, Jyotri? Enlightenment means the enlightened person understands I am not this body that will die. I am not even mind and ego that says me, that creates karma. I am the Atma. I am this divine spirit. I am the soul. That enlightened being, when you realize I am not the mind and ego, it doesn't exist. That person is liberated and becomes one with God. This is not an easy thing to understand because you have to realize this. So I'm happy to answer further questions. But this is the essential principle of enlightenment. If only you get one more question is there of Jyotri, please forward it. If only you get enlightened, then you transcend the mind and ego. You transcend that the body that it's a garment that you're wearing. So the next question, Jyotri is still continuing. Yoga Darsiman, we are going to give you your next chance to ask the question. How the mind and ego of non-enlightened person comes back in the world if it's an illusion? What an amazing question. Jyotri is very seriously on the talash. So Jyotri, the mind and ego of a not enlightened person is what carries karma, it is the ignorant software of a human being. It is just like in a computer you get a virus, it is a malignant virus. It can shut down your computer. The software of the human being is the mind and ego that is born out of ignorance. This mind and ego carries its karma. The non-enlightened person who has got karma, because you think I am the ego, I am Jyotri. I am Jyotri. It is my house. It is my family. The moment I am doing actions, I keep on building my karma. And I keep on building my karma. I am not enlightened. When I die, just like the software from one mobile transfers to another mobile, the mind and ego gets transferred from one physical body to another physical body in the form of a zygote. And you're created. So please feel free to continue asking, but it's a very deep question. I can say one of the deepest questions we have had in the last few weeks. Today's session, we've had some very deep questions. I hope you all will contemplate. I hope you know that these links are available on Facebook and YouTube. Whatever we are talking is available. So you can go back and listen to it if you want to listen. Yoga Narasimhan. Thank you, Jyotri, for your excellent questions. Yoga Narasimhan.
Sir, when we are doing meditation and prayers, you feel the vibration more in few temples, like you actually feel the vibrations. So don't you think it's like better if you go to the temple and then do your prayers and to get that feeling than to do prayers anywhere?
So it's like this. How do I explain to you? So I think, suppose you are having an ordinary device. Suppose you're having an ordinary device. Then you need a very strong Wi-Fi for this device to work.
Okay.
But suppose you have a very powerful device, very, very advanced, very, very powerful device. It will catch even the smallest signal and the Wi-Fi and the mobile will work. You're getting my analogy, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Yoga Narasimhan, for a beginner, for a person who is not enlightened, who is very distracted, in Hindi, you know Hindi?
Yes.
There's a chanchal man. You understand the meaning of chanchal? Jiska man chanchal hai. Which means that the mind is very innocent and jumping from thought to thought and going from ritual to ritual. Such a person may be advisable to pray in the temple and create a bhakti and create the shakti. But when the person starts reaching that state of realization and enlightenment, then why go to temple? Because you feel that energy everywhere, Yoga. You feel the energy, you start feeling the energy. It's like a higher device. I give the example of an ordinary device and a very high-powered device. You get my point, right? So the ordinary device needs high energy level. You need a temple. But an evolved device, a very, very strong device doesn't need. They can pray anywhere. When you realize... continue.
So to become a high-level device, you have to get to that level, you have to start it from temple only.
Yes, you should go to the temple, definitely. You should everything see. It's there's a beautiful book. It's called The Ladder to Heaven. The book that God gave us to write. There are 16 steps to the ladder to heaven. When we are talking about heaven, we are talking about enlightenment. In the 16 steps, the first step is faith and prayer. You have to have faith in God. You have to go pray to God. You have to have trust, hope, enthusiasm. Then you love God. And after you love God, you seek God. You go talash, you go search, you get self-realization, God realization. So the journey is like that. So initially, there's nothing wrong in going to a temple. But if you're only going to be in a temple, Yoga Narasimhan, if you live and die in a temple, then what will happen? According to you've been attending few days, right? If you live from now till our death, if I only live in the temple, what will happen?
No idea.
You know the answer, what will happen?
No.
We will do good karma. But we will come back to earth. There will be no self-realization and no God realization.
Okay.
If you want God, if you want to be one with God, if you want self-realization, then you must go beyond the temple, because God lives in the temple of your heart. This is written in the Bible. I'm quoting the Bible. Corinthians 3:16. The temple of God is within. God lives in the kingdom of your heart. So this is quoted in Bible. Forget about in the Indian scriptures. This is quoted in the Bible. Thank you. Next question. Karthik.
Sir, Shivoham. Sir, I want to, sir, earlier you have told that if we after dying, our soul comes one with the divine soul. But
Speak
the thing
loudly,
is,
Karthik. Karthik, please speak loudly and softly.
Sir, you told before that if after we die, our soul becomes united with one divine soul.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
But means what about our karmas? Means whatever means things we have committed, we have to pay for it, and then we have to go with means we have to be united with God. No, that's positive energy.
Karthik, you have to pay for the karma if you think you are Karthik. As long as you think you are Karthik, you have to pay for the karma. Because you are thinking, I am Karthik. When Karthik dies, the mind and ego of Karthik will come back as Ritik. From Karthik, you may come back as Ritik. But you will have karma. But if you understand by realization, if you have enlightenment, that I am not Karthik, I am the soul of Karthik, I am the soul in Karthik, I am the Atma in Karthik, then you are free from all karma. Then you are liberated. You are not reborn.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
That is the essence of enlightenment. See, I have, something, Karthik. I have repeated this already 100 times on the Zoom call.
Yes, sir.
Now, Veena, yes or no? How many times
Yes.
I'm repeating this?
Yes.
More than 100 times. But it will not go inside. Because the mind and ego will stop. The mind and ego will not allow. It stops. It stops the matter from going inside.
So I have to read the book, The Mind is Rascal.
First you kill your mind.
Yes,
Take a gun and shoot your mind.
Okay, sir.
Because the mind is the rascal. Read the book, Mind is Rascal. The mind and the ego, me, stops us from enlightenment. It makes us create karma. It brings us back in this world again and again. And we suffer. We don't get united with God. The equation, my dear friend, the equation is very simple, but very difficult to understand. Because the moment you open your eyes, you realize the truth. Can you open your real eyes? Last question for today, Girish.
Thank you,
Girish,
sir.
last question, Girish.
For an enlightened person, what is the concept of I, world, and God?
I, world, and God.
Yes.
For the enlightened person, I, world, and God. I'm giving you an analogy, Girish. Please understand. For an enlightened person, I, world, and God is just like for the owner of a gold shop to know the gold earring, gold necklace, and gold bangle. The owner of the gold shop, the goldsmith knows the ring, the necklace, the bangle is all appearance. It is all gold. The owner of the gold shop knows. And the man who is not enlightened says, I, world, God are different appearances. The reality, it is all one energy. I'm sure, Girish, you are evolved. You understand the answer. Very simple. You got the answer. Remember the examples, they will help you. Remember the examples, they will stop the mind from jumping like a monkey here and there. So remember that example. Today's call, I have a special thanks to all those who asked questions. I'm so grateful to you. What amazing questions. I am really grateful to all of you who has made this Ask AiR session so special. I am grateful. Before I forget, tomorrow, those who are coming for the spiritual retreat at 9:45 a.m. in Bangalore, it's only for those who attend. It's not on Zoom call. We will be back at 8 o'clock for Ask AiR. And I think a few of you who are coming for the spiritual retreat tomorrow, I will meet you all at 9:45. And the rest of you, as they say in many of the Hindi serials, Shubharatri. I thank you and I bow down to you.
Sir, what happens in that, sir? Sir? Okay.